This Friday, the WWE enters the kingdom and the deserts of Saudi Arabia, man. The greatest Royal Rumble, the largest Royal Rumble in WWE history. 50 men. This is a very subjective event. You're either going into this caring, or you're going into this not giving a single fuck. Now, with me, I am trying to look at it in a more positive light, because I have pretty much soured on the entire aspect of what the greatest Royal Rumble means. I'm looking at it in a positive way because we get to wake up on Friday morning, and the first thing that we do when we open our eyes and turn on our coffee machines is set ourselves down and get ready to watch another 5-hour wrestling show. Now, for me, I don't really mind it because this is what I do. I'll watch, I'll take my notes, I'll come on here, give you guys content, everybody's happy. I don't like the fact that WWE is giving us another 5-hour plus event on top of WrestleMania in the same month. WrestleMania was almost 7.5 hours long. The greatest Royal Rumble is going to be 6 hours long. 6.5 hours long, depending on if WWE wants to shoot for that overrun. Because they can. It's a lot of wrestling in a single month, man. And then we got Backlash to worry about the following Sunday. I don't like the fact that WWE is building this up on the same level of a WrestleMania. There's no other event during the year that should be billed as WrestleMania light. They don't even do that with SummerSlam. It's not on the same level as a WrestleMania. And it doesn't pretend to be. But they have put so much money behind this agenda and this push. And it really has weighed people down. The over-promotion of this show is downright just annoying and sickening. But I know why they've done it. The greatest Royal Rumble is nothing more than a business move by the WWE in partnership with the Saudi government to, I guess, kind of make things right over there, to kind of bring normalcy to that part of the globe, to bring a gentrification, I guess, over to that part of the world. And this is a business move strictly by WWE. They're taking the Saudi government's money. I don't know how they're paying them. Maybe they're paying Vince McMahon in rupees. I don't know. No matter what they're being paid in, this is a major deal for WWE that spans 10 years. We don't know the amount of money that they're receiving, but it is reportedly enormous. It's big enough to get every legend possible on this show outside of a Dwayne Johnson and a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Every single person that is actively and readily available is on this show. Mysterio, Jericho, Mark Henry, even retired, went into the Hall of Fame WrestleMania weekend. He's going to be in the greatest Royal Rumble. They're bringing back the Great Khali for the greatest Royal Rumble. The Undertaker, of all people, who can barely even move nowadays, is in a casket match against Rusev at the greatest Royal Rumble. Triple H is fighting at the greatest Royal Rumble. Shane McMahon, who's not even an active wrestler, is in the greatest Royal Rumble. WWE going all out. 7 title matches on this show. Both world titles being defended. Intercontinental, US, Tag Team Championships being defended. Cruiserweight Championship being defended. The other thing I don't like about the greatest Royal Rumble is that, and this is something that WWE won't push, but this is something that we the fans see. They're using this as a catalyst to use in the Roman agenda, in the Roman Reigns agenda. They're using this as a catalyst to get Roman where they want him to be. Roman is not going to be where they want him to be as far as fan reception, but Roman will get to where they want him to be in an environment that's not going to be as volatile as WrestleMania. And I don't like that whatsoever. On top of everything that WWE has pushed to try and get Roman Reigns over, this may have been the low blow to end them all. Not only did they sabotage the outcome of WrestleMania's main event, they took the WrestleMania main event spot by changing it the day of and playing matchmaker with everybody because they were afraid that Roman wasn't going to get the reaction that they wanted at WrestleMania. As if Vince McMahon is a child being strolled down aisle 7 in Toys R Us and his mother told him he can't have the Power Ranger toy that he desires so much. You already have the Pink Ranger. You don't need the Yellow Ranger. What's the difference? Vince McMahon causes a stir in the aisle, starts crying and throwing a temper tantrum. Blah, blah, blah. Cry me a river of tears, Mr. McMahon. As if you didn't know Roman Reigns wasn't going to get the reaction that you so desired at WrestleMania. It's as if WWE doesn't know their own audience. It's as if WWE was living in the Matrix for the last 4 years. What the fuck happened to every other situation that you booked Roman Reigns? Was it the outcome that you wanted? No. So what makes you think as time goes on that the reaction is going to be what you want? You think people are just going to give up? You think people aren't going to care anymore? The fans get smarter as the days and the years go on, while McMahon gets dumber. It's got an adverse effect. Sabotage WrestleMania, sabotage the main event of WrestleMania, took the main event spot away from somebody who truly deserves it. All for a positive or more positive reaction for Roman Reigns to win the title off of American soil in front of a more receptive crowd. I see you, Vince McMahon. I see you. You are no longer in the circle of trust. But I'm looking at it as more content, and that's the only reason why I'm looking at it and embracing it. We all know it's a business deal for WWE. I don't know how much money the Saudi government's giving them. It's a 10-year deal. This is nothing but a business move by WWE to line their pockets with more money because that's all they care about. They only care about the money. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about anything. One thing that people are making a big deal about is the fact that the female performers are not able to travel with the WWE because of the way women are not allowed to wrestle in that part of the globe, in that country. I don't care either way. I don't care either way. Now, Triple H gave what could be the greatest political answer that you would find anywhere when it comes to this type of situation. And we'll go over that in a little bit. People wanted my thought on it. JD, what do you think about Finn Balor's, stance on standing up for the gay and lesbian community? How do you think that's going to be treated over there? JD, how do you feel about WWE going into a country with all this women's movement and women's rights going on in the company, and they're going into a country that they willingly kill people who are, gay and lesbian, and they, take away women's rights and don't allow women to wrestle in that part of the globe? Listen, we have no say in what happens over there. WWE has to abide by the law. And we have to, as fans, respect the law. Simple as that. You're not going to allow someone into your home unless there is a set of rules. You're not going to throw your feet up on the living room table as if you're in your own home with your stinky feet and your smelly socks. You're not going to, put the recliner back and just prop your feet up and watch TV and take the remote control over and start channel surfing. You're not going to get up and go into the refrigerator and pop open a cold beverage. You're not going to do that in someone else's home unless you abide by their rules or whomever's home you are in rules. Can't do that. WWE is going into someone else's home. You abide by their rules. And we as fans have to respect those rules. Simple as that. I look at it this way, man. Just look at the card itself. Are the women really going to make that big of an impact on this show? No, they're not. Having Nia Jax defend the Raw Women's Championship and have Carmella defend the SmackDown Live Women's Championship is not going to make this show better. I'm looking at it as both of these feuds that are ongoing right now and both champions right now are completely god-awful. If anything of the women was included on this show, it would actually make the show that much more unenjoyable. So count your blessings that whatever WWE has going on right now is not of great importance for the women. That's why WWE is building all the women towards Backlash, because they're not able to be on this show. But it does present WWE a way to slowly take the pickaxe and start picking away. Over 10 years, this is a big deal to the WWE. This is a big deal to Saudi Arabia. I'm going to be a betting man here and say within the next 10 years of however long this deal is, whatever WWE has going on with this 10-year deal, they're going to take the pickaxe and they're going to start picking away at getting the women on one of these big shows that are going to be happening in Saudi Arabia over the next 10 years. You abide by the rules, maybe WWE breaks down more barriers. When they break down more barriers, WWE is going to be the first at the fucking drop of a dime to say, look at what we did. The only wrestling promotion in the world to have their females wrestling in this country. It's going to make news waves. It's going to make headlines. It's going to put WWE up on their high horse. And they're going to be the first to tout. And we're never going to hear the end of it. WWE has women's match for the first time ever in Saudi Arabia. You're not going to get to that goal unless WWE slowly starts to play by the Saudi government's rules. WWE has wanted to get into China. How many years now WWE's wanted to get into China? If China allowed WWE into their, culture. If China said, WWE, Vince, come on in. Vince McMahon would be fucking dropping his pants, running over there as fast as he can to set up the fucking greatest whatever over there. It's all about money. It's all about money. WWE wants the money and they want to, hype first time evers and they want to break down barriers and all this other shit. Give them time. It's all part of a big propaganda, it's all government deal. It's nothing but a business deal. I don't really care for that side of things. I just want to watch one of these shows. This is a show that you watch as a fan. There really is nothing outside of anything. It has no direct correlation to what's happening on WWE television. In fact, this show is suffering from predictability. This show is sandwiched in between Backlash, which is receiving little to zero build, and a superstar shakeup that happened last week. If anything, this show is overly predictable in some instances. But as far as the shows, on Friday, I'm just going into it as a fan. And we'll take it as is, man. It may end up surprising us. It may end up being a good show. The one thing I will be keeping an eye on, the one thing I'm most interested in, is the stage setup, how the crowd is going to be portrayed, how they're going to come across on television, and what the entire reaction to the overall experience is going to be. Because to me, I've always said this, and I always feel this way going into any wrestling event. The crowd is a make or break for any wrestling event, no matter if it's 100 or 100,000. Crowd reaction to what they are watching over the span of 3 to 4 hours, in this case 5 hours of a wrestling event, is make or break. If you have a dead crowd, you're going to have a dismal show. If you have a lively crowd, more than likely you're going to have a very good show. If you have a bad show in the ring and you have a lively crowd, the show ends up being passable because the crowd made it that much more enjoyable. Crowd has a direct effect on any wrestling show, no matter where you are, no matter the number of people in attendance. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to most. Now, there are several news outlets reporting that the Saudi government is responsible for filling 62,000 seats. So essentially, this is a sold-out show for WWE. The crowd capacity will likely be around 52,000, and that's due to the stage setup. The Saudi Arabian government is not concerned about breaking even on ticket sales, so that is why tickets for this event are dirt cheap. 10 or 20 Saudi Riyal. That's $267 and $535 in American money, plus free drinks. This type of show, $6 plus you're getting free drinks. Sign me the fuck up. It's basically a propaganda event for them. Most of the expensive seats have been reserved for Saudi General Sports Authority and their celebrity friends. Basically, the only way to get a ticket in most of the stadium is if you have a family with a woman in it. And I'm guessing that has to do with visual presentation for this show. You know, they want to show you that, oh, look, things are well here. You know, families are here. Kids and women alike are here enjoying the sports entertainment aspect of WWE. Meanwhile, they might not even know how to spell WWE. They never heard or seen WWE in their life, which concerns me on the aspect of what I just talked about crowd reaction and crowd reception being a vital part to a show's success. If you're putting people in the audience that don't know a lick of WWE, how excited are they really going to be? So, if you have a family with a woman in it, that's the only way to get most of the stadium seating the way that they want it. The idea is to portray to the world that they've progressed with women's rights in that country. Single men are allowed to attend, but there are only 10,000 seats allocated for them, and they are only allowed to sit in the bad seats. So 10,000 of 52,000 are going to be delegated to the fucking bowels of the building or the nosebleeds. How is that going to come off on television? Now, we all made light and we all voiced our concerns about Roman Reigns winning the title and how WWE is planning on Roman's big coronation in Saudi Arabia for the Universal Championship. But is it really going to be that when the hardcore fans, the diehard fans, are sitting in the fucking bowels of the building and then the nosebleeds? How is it going to come across on television? Is it going to be the reaction that we think the WWE is doing for Roman? Is it going to be the reaction that WWE wants for Roman? I guess if there's, no sign of an American audience there, or minimal American audience voicing their displeasure with Roman Reigns. I guess, a volatile crowd is much worse than just families sitting in dead silence, not really knowing anything about what's going on in the ring. I don't know. I think WWE has sunk to the lowest of lows, regardless of what type of crowd reaction Roman Reigns will get. But that sucks for the diehards, man. 10,000 diehards out of 52,000 really doesn't equal a good crowd reaction for an event of this magnitude. The belief is that the show won't come across well on television because most of the vocal fans will be sitting so far away. The word in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, is that the local promotion has been lackluster, and unless you are a hardcore WWE fan, then you probably won't know that a show is even taking place on Friday. It will be interesting to see how many fans they can get to attend because the Saudi General Sports Authority wasn't able to fill the stadium for high-level soccer matches, and it is their most popular sport. All the single male tickets sold out in about an hour or so, and you can imagine there are some angry hardcore fans that won't be able to attend. Many of them have been protesting that there could be some accommodations made because so much of the stadium has not been sold yet. One other thing about the tickets is that anyone who bought a ticket is not allowed to pick a seat. Anyone who bought a ticket will know what section they will be put in, but the government will assign seating when the fans get there. I don't know, man. Again, business move. WWE's taking the money. They're allowing the Saudi government to do whatever they want, and it might be a huge negative effect on the show on Friday. Now, the women not being featured in the Royal Rumble has given WWE some criticism over the last couple of weeks. Triple H has spoken out about this decision. He claimed that he's hopeful they will be able to compete at the event in coming years. Exactly what I told you. WWE's going to take the pickaxe, and they're going to try and get barriers broken. And he believes there's a genuine shift in attitude towards women in Saudi Arabia, which helps that cause. He said, I understand that people are questioning it, but you have to understand that every culture is different, and just because you don't agree with a certain aspect of it doesn't mean it's not a relevant culture. While women are not competing in the event, we had discussions about that and hope that in the next few years they will be. You can't dictate to a country or a religion about how they handle things, but having said that, WWE is at the forefront of a women's revolution in the world, and what you can't do is affect change anywhere by staying away from it. While right now women are not competing in the event, we had discussions about that, and we believe and hope that in the next few years they will be. This is a significant cultural shift in Saudi Arabia. The country is in the middle of a shift in how it is dealing with that. The position is changing and rights are changing, as are the way women are handled and treated in society. We think that's a great thing, and we're excited to be at the forefront of that change. It never ceases to amaze me that you come to any place in the world and walk down the street and people know who you are. There's nowhere you can go in the world without being recognized as a WWE superstar. You talk about the cultural shift in the world, and just a few months ago, we were in Abu Dhabi and had the first ever match with women competing, with a crowd of women, men, and little boys in the audience with tears in their eyes. The audience were chanting, "This is hope. That is cultural change." End quote. I mean, you really can't, that's the best possible answer Triple H could ever give to something like this, man. I mean, he chose his words beautifully, and it's exactly what I was thinking before I even hit record on this. It's like, why does anybody really care? Follow their rules. WWE is doing something right now that they have no control of, but the more you present yourself in front of these people, the more opportunity you have to break down these barriers and make change. Change will present itself, and WWE will be there willing and ready when it does happen. Take it easy, people. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. We've had so much promise and so much with the women's revolution. Just in this year alone. One night is not going to soil your thoughts on WWE's women's revolution. We have Backlash. WWE's positioning the women, no matter how garbage it is, at Backlash. Leave it at that. This is one event. It's not going to make or break your year. Those are the biggest things going into the greatest Royal Rumble, man. As you guys know, anybody that is ready, willing, and able to wrestle here, that's still active in the professional wrestling world, will be here. Literally everybody. Rey Mysterio, Mark Henry, Big Show, guys like that, Undertaker, Triple H, Shane McMahon, Jericho. They're all there. They're all there. The card itself looks very impressive. We have The Undertaker in a casket match going up against Rusev. It was Rusev, and then it was changed to Jericho and Undertaker, and now it's back to Rusev. Apparently, WWE got upset when Rusev and Lana were on TMZ out in Los Angeles, and Rusev apparently said that he was going to bury the old man. You know, or something along those lines. Called The Undertaker crippled and an old man, blah, blah, blah. And then he went on Twitter just before he was interviewed by TMZ and said, "Bury me softly, brother," as if he knows he's going to be buried. So WWE, someone in WWE management didn't see this as a respectable nod to The Undertaker. I guess someone in WWE is really high on the senior citizen discount. But Rusev is playing his character out in public, just as if Matt Hardy plays his Woken gimmick anywhere he goes. Someone in WWE didn't realize that, well, Rusev is a professional wrestler. Maybe he's just pretending to be his wrestler gimmick out in public. And he didn't want to present himself or humanize himself. He wanted to continue playing up the Rusev Day aspect, and he wanted to play a wrestling villain. These are the people that want Rusev to be a villain, yet, you know, when he's out doing, you know, wrestling villain-like things and saying wrestling villain-like stuff, they want to jump all over. But they're okay with his Rusev Day merchandise selling out left and right. They're okay with the Rusev Day chants, right? Even though they're trying to scale that down slowly but surely. Someone in there probably had fucking a stick so far up their ass that morning that they got so triggered by what he said, changed it to Jericho, and then I guess Lana made a pitch to WWE management that Rusev wanted the match. So they changed it back. Either way you look at it, I don't really care about the match. Will it do Rusev good to be in the ring with The Undertaker? Yes, visually it will be. Anybody that stands next to The Undertaker obviously is going to be made to look like a big deal. But in the end, this is going to be 5-10 minutes max, and Rusev is going to be put in a casket. It's not going to do anything for either guy. It's just something that we can say, oh, look, Rusev is in the ring with The Undertaker. He got put in a casket by The Undertaker. Look at that. Rusev's going to get buried in the sands of Saudi Arabia. Who cares? It's not going to make me think less of Rusev when he loses. It's not going to make me excited to see The Undertaker. It's just a spectacle. That's all it is, people. It is a spectacle. When was the last time we seen a casket match? Be excited about that. You know? Casket match. Old school. Just enjoy it. Another thing people are talking about. John Cena and Triple H. Why is this match happening? This makes no sense. Two of the biggest names in the history of this company. It is a spectacle for the people in attendance. Leave it at that. Triple H wrestling. John Cena wrestling. Oh, it has nothing to do with storyline. Who cares? I'm not expecting anything much out of these guys. I don't fucking care. But it's wrestling. John Cena, Triple H. It's a spectacle for 62,000. It is a spectacle that fits the agenda that WWE has pushed for weeks. A number of times per show. John Cena and Triple H. John Cena's going to win. John Cena's going to give Triple H the AA. They'll probably kick out of each other's finishers 2 or 3 times. We'll see Cena kick out of a pedigree. We'll see Triple H kick out of an AA. I'll sit there with my coffee in my hand, shrugging my shoulders. John Cena's going to end up winning. Enjoy it. Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto. Apparently Kalisto won a fatal 4-way to earn the right to fight Cedric Alexander here for the Cruiserweight Championship. Cedric Alexander just won the title. No reason to have him lose the title. This is his division for the foreseeable future. Cedric Alexander will defeat Kalisto and retain the Cruiserweight Championship. Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan versus the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. I mentioned on SmackDown Live Review last night. If you guys missed it, go check it out. Mentioned on SmackDown Live Review last night that I don't like the way the Usos are slightly being humanized here by the inclusion of Naomi. Seems like the Usos have gone away from the Uso Penitentiary. Seems like they've lost their edge. And I want them to get that edge back. I wouldn't have put Naomi in this storyline, but I understand why they put Naomi in this storyline. They need to make the Bludgeon Brothers look scary and big and intimidating. But the Usos are intimidating in their own right, and they're not afraid of anybody. You know, they could take a beating, and they could start to doubt themselves, but the Usos are always ready, willing, and able to lock someone up in the Uso penitentiary. They didn't need Naomi to come back them up. So I hope the Usos get right back on track. I don't think they're winning the titles. The Bludgeon Brothers just won the titles, and you can see how strong the Bludgeon Brothers have been built up. This is a Vince McMahon project. I don't think Vince McMahon's going to sour on Harper and Rowan this quickly. I think the Bludgeon Brothers are going to win, and I expect it to be better than what we've seen at WrestleMania. You know, that tag team match was the shortest match at WrestleMania on the entire main card. It was like 5 minutes. Bludgeon Brothers are going to retain, and I expect, hopefully, a decent competitive match for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. What I don't expect to be competitive is the Raw Tag Team Championships. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, the makeshift team of Matt and Jeff Hardy. Not Matt and Jeff. Jeff is on the show. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. I have complained here and there about Matt and Bray. They need to look more like a solid tag team. WWE has this mixture of Matt's theme, and then they go to Bray's theme, and then they go back to Matt's theme in the ring by doing the delete, and Bray's doing his follow JoJo's fat ass, man. I want some resemblance of stability with this team. If this is going to be a thing for the foreseeable future, then make them a legit team. They can change Nakamura's theme song at the drop of a dime. Why don't we get new theme songs for Bray and Matt together? Cesaro and Sheamus are on SmackDown. They got drafted to SmackDown Live. Now, WWE, you know, listen, they write their own rules. Sheamus and Cesaro could end up winning this match and go back to Monday Night Raw. I don't fucking know. It's not in the rule book that they can't win. I'm looking at it in a way of what WWE has presented to me. Now, trades or, you know, a shifting of rosters can happen. If they win the titles, clearly they got to be put back on Monday Night Raw. Maybe SmackDown gets another team in compensation. Maybe they move someone else over to SmackDown Live. They could do that. They write their own rules. But like I said, I'm looking at it in a way in which WWE has presented it to me. Sheamus and Cesaro have already moved. They've already been drafted. Bray and Matt are the team that they seem to be pushing. The Bar did Fandango and Tyler Breeze the honors of losing to them the night before they got drafted to SmackDown Live. So like I said, for a third time, I'm looking at it in a way in which WWE has presented it to me. The Bar are not going to win the Raw Tag Team titles and take the titles back to SmackDown Live. Doesn't work that way. Bray and Matt are going to win the tag team titles. WWE has pushed this team coming out of WrestleMania, and it only makes sense for them to win the Raw Tag Team titles. But again, it's not out of the realm of possibility that WWE can rewrite their own rules here and have Sheamus and Cesaro win, go back to Raw, and just move someone else over to SmackDown Live. Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal for the United States Championship. Jeff Hardy got drafted to SmackDown Live. He won the title the night before he was drafted to SmackDown Live against Jinder Mahal. Jinder was the first guy announced on Monday Night Raw. First move of the shakeup. Depending on how you look at it, that's a terrible move for Monday Night Raw. This is another one of those situations where, you know, WWE could rewrite their own rules here. This has direct correlation to the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, we have Hardy and Mahal. In the IC title match, we got Rollins, Balor, Joe, and The Miz. The Miz is a SmackDown guy. Joe is a SmackDown guy. Balor and Rollins, obviously, are Raw guys. Jeff Hardy is a SmackDown guy. Mahal is a Raw guy. WWE could do some rearrangement here. WWE could have The Miz win the Intercontinental Championship. Have The Miz take the IC title back to SmackDown Live, which I think it should be on SmackDown Live anyway because I'm old school. I want the WWE title and the Intercontinental title to be on the same show. And they could have Jinder Mahal beat Jeff Hardy and Mahal take the United States Championship back to Monday Night Raw. I would do none of those things. I would do none of those things. Even though I just stated I want the IC title on SmackDown Live or prefer the IC title on SmackDown Live, I think Jeff Hardy beats Jinder Mahal. The only reason I think Mahal might win is because he's already taken a few losses in the last couple of weeks. And WWE would be, within their grounds to give Mahal a win here and for the title. But the main thing here is I don't want to see The Miz as IC champion. I'm over it. And I would not take that title off Seth Rollins. I think that title needs someone like Seth Rollins. I think that title needs a babyface like Seth Rollins, and it needs someone who can work like Seth Rollins. That's just my honest opinion on that. So at this juncture, I'm going with Hardy to retain, and I'm going with Rollins to retain the title. And that's probably going to be the best match of the entire show. It's a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm going with Hardy to beat Mahal, and I'm going with Rollins to beat Balor, Joe, and The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura's theme song changed. We all know it. If you guys want my thoughts on it, watch my SmackDown Live review. I give you my reason as to why I probably will warm up to it. I know why they did it. I just, in the back of my mind, thought that of all the things that needed to change about Nakamura, that was the one thing that didn't really need to be changed. I mentioned Bobby Roode being a heel in NXT, and he was more of a cool heel, but everybody in WWE is a cool heel. There's no legit heels in WWE. Everybody's a cool heel. You can't use that excuse. The theme song is not going to make me dislike Nakamura. I've always been a fan of Nakamura. It's not like his theme song is going to change my perception on how I view Nakamura. I'm always going to, enjoy Nakamura's work. But I didn't think Nakamura needed a music change in that aspect. I know why they did it. It fits his character. Yes, it fits low blow Nakamura. I know. And when he goes back to being a babyface, the old babyface theme is going to come back and everybody's going to go crazy for it. I know. But Bobby Roode was a calculating, manipulative prick heel in NXT. And he had the most over babyface theme song that there could possibly ever be written for somebody. When you got a great chorus like that and you got something that reminds you of fucking Queen, how could you not sing along to that? It's just one aspect of the guy's character. Look at Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, outside of Samoa Joe, are the best heels on the main roster. Sami Zayn's work has been brilliant as a heel. He still comes out to that ska shit. And everybody in the crowd continues to chant along to his theme song. People still chant, ole, 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 ole. They still chant that shit in the crowd when he's in the ring. Who gives a shit? It's fun. People like to sing. People like to chant along. People like to have a good time. Nakamura, his theme song is not really going to take away from his heel work. That's just the way I see it. I don't want to talk about it, but I'll probably end up warming up to it because I watched the music video like twice yesterday when it was posted on WWE's Twitter page. I don't care for the lyrics, but you know me, when there's drums, guitar, and violins going on, I'm all for that. It's just the vocals kind of throw me off. The lyrics to it kind of throw me off. But you look at it in a different way too with that. You look at it as a way as WWE's getting behind Nakamura. They're putting a lot of investment into Nakamura. The dancing in the aisleway has kind of toned itself down. He's got, instead of bright red, he's got dark red and black stripes through his outfit. I know why they're doing it. I just have to warm up to it, man. I'm not someone who likes change. I don't like change all that often. Hardly ever. But you can see what I'm trying to talk about and try and get across with my Bobby Roode reference and my Sami Zayn reference. So just leave it at that. You guys enjoy it. You enjoy it. I'll probably end up warming up to it. It's not going to make me look at Nakamura any differently. Styles, he's been on the receiving end of low blow after low blow after low blow, which kind of makes me think that AJ Styles might end up walking out here the WWE champion. But if I'm booking this, I'm giving Nakamura the title. I'm giving Nakamura the title win here, and I'm having Nakamura walk out the WWE champion. I have him and AJ Chase, or I have AJ Chase, and the feud continues till SummerSlam, where you do a Money in the Bank cash-in. And that's the reason why I don't think The Miz is going to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think he's beyond that. The Miz is beyond the WWE Intercontinental Championship. I think The Miz now needs to be positioned on SmackDown Live as a top-tier player. Have him win Money in the Bank, and you build that around The Miz. Money in the Bank, WWE Championship. You kind of have The Miz be the equalizer to kind of set things off in another direction. You know? Styles thinks he's going to get the title back, but The Miz cashes in. Miz cashes in. And something along those lines. You build a feud to Daniel Bryan, or maybe Bryan gets the title shot at SummerSlam, and Miz takes it away from Bryan. And you build Bryan and The Miz. Either way you look at it, the end conclusion is going to be Bryan and Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That's the goal there. I think The Miz is well beyond the IC title. You put him in the WWE Championship picture by having him win Money in the Bank. If I'm booking this, I'm going Nakamura. But my heart says AJ Styles. So I'm going with AJ Styles here to win the WWE Championship match and retain the title. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. You guys know how I feel about this. You guys know exactly how I feel about this and everything that's led up to this. I don't need to repeat myself. Sabotaging the WrestleMania main event. WWE being blind to the reception of the fans after 4 years, thinking that things are going to change. 4 years in a row, WrestleMania main event. Vince McMahon being an overly big crybaby when he doesn't get what he wants out of Roman Reigns. WWE portraying Reigns in the most nauseous, vomit-inducing way. You know. Fake fans in the crowd on Monday Night Raw. Whether they're real or fake, it was clearly edited. It was clearly showcased in a way that people are booing Roman Reigns, but WWE wanted to give you 7 or 8 different camera angles on a group of individuals in fucking many different ways, chanting Roman, Roman, with enhanced audio. Roman is not wanted by anybody. Those might be the only 7 people in that crowd in St. Louis that wanted Roman Reigns. So we've gone from sabotaging main events to putting, overly enthusiastic fake fans in the crowd. And I'm not the only one who thought of the plants in the crowd. Ollie Davis mentioned it. He ranted on it. Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer ranted on it. Every podcast that I listened to ranted on it. I'm not the only one, so people pinpoint me. JD's hatred for Roman Reigns is reaching cringe-like levels. Meanwhile, I'm not the only one. Well, I'm at the forefront of this, we're against Roman agenda. But literally everybody that you listen to said the same thing that I said. So why are you attacking me? I don't understand. In fact, everybody jumped on my bandwagon. I'm the one who said it right when it happened on Monday Night Raw with the hashtag. 700 fucking likes and 400 retweets or something like that. Comment after comment after comment. God knows who's seen it. So the way I'm looking at it, they jumped on my bandwagon. I'm the one that called it out right when it happened. Anyway, Paul Heyman's not going to be there in Saudi Arabia. Everybody's coming up with scenarios where Paul Heyman's not going to be there. Brock Lesnar's going to blame his loss on Paul Heyman. Not going to happen that way. Roman's going to win the match. Roman's going to win the match by not pinning Brock Lesnar. Because you don't want to give off the perception of Brock Lesnar being pinned. So Roman's either going to escape through the door or climb over the top. Either way, he's going to win the Universal Championship. At this point, give him the title. I am tired of looking at Roman chase. Give him the title so we can begin the recovery process. So we can start talking about who is going to take the title off of Roman. If I'm booking this, I'm going Lesnar. And then I have Lesnar drop it to Braun Strowman. But I don't think Roman losing the WrestleMania main event in the fashion that he did, he's going to go into Saudi Arabia and lose this match. Roman's going to win the Universal Championship. You're going to get the coronation that you want. The fireworks are going to go off. And everybody's going to be, It is what it is. And the greatest Royal Rumble match, 50-man Royal Rumble. I don't know what WWE is going to do as far as ruling. I do know that they're following traditional Rumble rules. So it's going to be countdown timer. Whether the crowd in Saudi Arabia counts down with it remains to be seen. Because that's one of the fun aspects of the Royal Rumble, crowd counting down from 10. It's going to be the countdown time of the entrances. We don't know if it's going to be 30-second intervals, 60-second intervals, 90-second intervals. We don't know. If I'm booking it, I'm doing 90 seconds. It's only an extra 20 men. Who cares? Have some rapid-fire eliminations in there. You'll be fine. 90 seconds. Keep it as such. Don't change the rules because, You know, this isn't a traditional January Royal Rumble. Keep the same rules. You're using the Rumble name, you keep the same Rumble ruling. Who do I think is going to win this match? My heart wants Bryan. But my intuitive brain says Braun Strowman. The winner of this doesn't get anything. The winner of this thing gets nothing but a trophy. So if they're not getting anything, why not have one of the most over guys in the company win it, who realistically, you look at him, should be tossing everybody out left and right. I have Braun Strowman win this thing. My heart says Bryan, but my mind says Braun Strowman. I'm going with Braun Strowman to win the greatest Royal Rumble. And that concludes my preview and predictions of the greatest Royal Rumble. Thank you guys so much. If you missed Raw and SmackDown reviews, they will be live on the channel right now. Click that little eye in the top right corner. They'll be there. I might not be doing an NXT review tonight. You might see that tomorrow morning. So if you do not see it, do not worry. It will still be coming because I want to talk about anything related to Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And I also want to talk about the explanation for Roderick Strong as why he turned on Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. So look forward to that tomorrow morning. So thank you guys so much for that. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. And I will see you guys tomorrow for more content right here on the channel. And as we get into this weekend's Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.